Big ICE retreat from U.S. cities after mass revolt. Trump gets reality check on notorious immigration raids. Under fire, DHS scales down operations against illegals. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is revising how it carries out immigration enforcement operations. According to a NewsNation report, federal agents are moving away from large-scale raids targeting all undocumented immigrants and shifting focus toward individuals convicted of serious crimes. The change affects teams operating under U.S. Border Patrol Commander-at-Large Gregory Bovino. Under the updated approach, agents will place less emphasis on broad raids at locations such as Home Depot stores and other public areas. Instead, enforcement efforts will concentrate on specific targets, including undocumented immigrants with serious criminal convictions. The report also says agents will no longer base enforcement on characteristics such as ethnicity, accent, language, or simply being present at certain locations like car washes or parking lots. While traffic stop enforcement will continue, Border Patrol is reportedly unlikely to continue picking people up randomly off the streets. The shift comes as public support for President Donald Trump's immigration policies has declined. A survey by the Public Religion Research Institute shows approval of Trump's handling of immigration fell from 42% in March to 33% this month. Separate polling from YouGov and a joint KFF-New York Times survey also found growing opposition to immigration enforcement tactics, with many immigrants saying they feel less safe. Despite the tactical shift, enforcement operations are continuing. Border Patrol has conducted raids this year in cities including Los Angeles, Chicago, and Charlotte, sparking protests and legal challenges. A new operation in New Orleans, known as Catahoula Crunch, is moving forward, with more than 250 arrests already made. DHS says it aims to carry out up to 5,000 arrests under that operation.
A new firestorm is erupting in Washington, and this time the target is Homeland Security Secretary Trump-Noem. Democrat Congresswoman Delia Ramirez of Illinois has just dropped a political bombshell, pressing the House Judiciary Committee to launch impeachment hearings into one of the most controversial figures in President Donald Trump's cabinet. The bold escalation, reported by Axios, signals a dramatic new phase in the Democrats' strategy, because impeachment, once considered the nuclear option, is quickly becoming their primary weapon. Just this week, Congresswoman Haley Stevens filed articles of impeachment against Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., citing a sweeping list of accusations tied to his rollback of public health protections. And before that, Congressman Sri Thanadar launched impeachment charges against Trump's War Secretary Pete Hegseth involving Signalgate and the explosive allegations surrounding a double-tap strike on an alleged Venezuelan drug boat in the Caribbean this September. And now, Ramirez is taking aim at Noem. In a sharply worded letter sent to Judiciary Committee Chair Jim Jordan and Ranking Member Jamie Raskin, Ramirez reportedly demanded what she calls a complete investigation into Noem's unlawful and potentially impeachable actions, and the accusations are stunning. Report says she has accused the DHS secretary of unethical conduct, pointing to reports that a firm linked to Noem allegedly received Homeland Security contract money. She also cited revelations that the Coast Guard spent a staggering $172 million to acquire 2 private jets for the secretary's use. The Democrat alleged Noem misled Congress about DHS and ICE operations. She also claimed that the secretary has actively undermined the separation of powers by ignoring multiple court orders. Secretary Noem has established a clear pattern of lawless behavior, Ramirez wrote in her letter, arguing that her conduct mirrors misconduct by her leadership team. When taken together, her actions violate her oath of office.
You lied on the record, and you lied to members of this committee. You violated court orders by not turning around deportation flights bound for El Salvador, where we know that hundreds of people under your leadership have reported that they were raped, they were beaten, and they nearly died. And your agents used chemical weapons in Chicago despite court orders from District Court Judge Ellis forbidding their use. Secretary Noem, you, Gregory Bovino, and your ICBP and DHS deputized agents have waged an unaccountable, unlawful, unconstitutional war against communities across the nation. Our residents have been surveilled, they've been threatened, they've been tear gassed, they've been hit with pepper balls, they've been shot, they've been subjected to warrantless arrest and precision immobilization maneuvers, they've been kidnapped and disappeared under your leadership. So we have a lot to talk about, but you and your department continue to reject congressional oversight. And you know how I know this? I know this because I've requested a meeting with ICE Field Office Director Russell Hutt. I requested a meeting with Field Office Director Samuel Olson. And when you came to Chicago on October 3rd, I publicly and formally requested a meeting with you. So I'm going to be including a letter I sent on October 3rd requesting a meeting with Secretary Noem. So, Secretary Noem, I want to ask you again, will you commit to meet with me, yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have a lot to talk about, and actually my scheduler has a couple dates that I'll get to you after this meeting. I appreciate that. So look, I want to be very clear. You have misused resources appropriated by Congress. You've engaged in unethical behavior. You have repeatedly made false and misleading statements to Congress and to the press, and you've undermined the separation of powers and disregarded the role of Congress and the courts. Bottom line, you lie with impunity. You reject checks and balances, and you ignore Congress and the courts. Your options are limited. Either you're going to resign, Trump's going to fire you, or you will be impeached. I've already called for your resignation. You may remember I hand-delivered my request to you back in May, and I urge you to reconsider resignation because I've taken the first step towards your impeachment, and I've called on the Judiciary Committee to open an investigation into your lawlessness. Mr. Chairman, I know that at the end we'll be entering a number of articles into consent, but since I have a few moments, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a letter calling the Judiciary Committee to investigate Secretary Noem's impeachable offenses. Whatever you choose, the American people will have justice, Secretary, and you will be held accountable. I'm going to make sure of that every single day. With that, Mr. Chair, I yield back.
For Democrats, this isn't just about Noem. It's about setting a precedent and demonstrating willingness to confront the Trump administration across every front of government. But the political reality is far more complicated. Republicans control the committee, and they are showing no signs of backing down. Jim Jordan's spokesperson, Russell Dye, dismissed Ramirez's letter in blistering fashion, calling it the most ridiculous and toothless letter ever written. Democrats may be firing off impeachment charges at a record speed, but without Republican support, these efforts face near impossible odds. The question now is not just whether impeachment hearings against Noem will begin, but how far this escalating political war will go, and who's the next target on Democrats' radar.